Good evening, everyone. The murder case against accused City Grill killer Riccardo McCray is now in the hands of the jury.
A jury that will have to weigh the credibility of witnesses who pointed to McCray as the gunman behind the massacre last August. News 4's Lori Schultz is live tonight at Erie County Court. Lori?
That jury has been deliberating since about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Right now, it's a waiting game. You could see some family members of Shantia McNeil. She was one of the victims waiting outside the courthouse anxiously. So far, the jury's requested only one readback, and that was testimony from witness Jerry Davis. You may recall that he really emerged as the prosecution's key witness in the case. He claims that he was in the getaway car with the defendant shortly after the murders and disposed of the murder weapon, which was never found. So some powerful testimony, certainly a long day for the jury. As promised, prosecutors showed a final clip of what appeared to be an assassination of one of the victims. It's pretty horrific to watch, but not very clear. Take a look for yourself. Look carefully and you could see someone approach a man in white on the ground. Pause, then flee. Seconds later, that man on the ground, later identified as Danielle Mackin, stumbles then drops, dying in the arms of his cousin. Within 10 minutes of his closing statement, prosecutor James Barnese showed the disturbing video.
Danielle Mackin, the groom, was an intended target that night of this defendant. Shot not once, but twice. The only person out of every single victim.
Defendant Riccardo McCray continued to keep a cool demeanor as Barnese made his closing comments, telling jurors to remember this.
All 7 bullets were fired by the same gun.
McCray is accused in the shooting deaths of 4 people, wounding of 3 others. During the 7-day trial, prosecutors called 49 witnesses. Barnese reminded jurors about the 5 eyewitnesses and what some of them said when they saw the shooter.
What the is you doing, Murder? And Murder looked at me, turned his head like he was looking for somebody.
What can you trust in the eyewitness testimony?
During the trial, McKay's attorney, Joseph Terranova, opted not to put on a defense. The defendant never took the stand, but he had maintained his innocence when he surrendered at News 4 last summer.
These people are trying to gain some benefit for themselves.
During his summation, Terranova made references to the Bible and poker because some of the eyewitnesses hoped to get deals in return for testifying.
Well, that might work in poker, but it doesn't work in a courtroom. How do you trust that? Do you trust that?
Why would they blame this defendant if it wasn't him?
Well, if convicted, the defendant faces 50 years to life in state prison. It's really kind of tough to get a read on the jury at this point as they sort through this 8-count indictment. The judge did tell them earlier this week to pack for an overnight, so they will be sequestered if they don't reach a verdict this evening. Of course, keep you posted on any new development. Live, Lori Schultz, News 4.